Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're excited to have you here today. I'm Claus Thorsgaard, CEO of KeyShot, and I'm looking forward to my conversation with Chuck Gahun, Principal Analyst of Digital Business and Strategy for Forrester. Welcome, Chuck. It's nice to see you again. You know, the last time you and I met, Loxion had recently acquired DigiSuite, and we came together to discuss the business case for 3D and DAM in manufacturing. A lot has happened since. We are now one company, branded as KeyShot, with an expanded vision to help businesses facilitate a more efficient and collaborative journey across the product lifecycle, from first sketch to market delivery. We call this concept product design to market. And today we're here to discuss the prevailing market trends in the manufacturing industry and how a product design to market strategy can help organizations transform their product vision into market reality with unprecedented time and cost savings, enabling more creativity and more product innovation. So let's dive in. So Chuck, can you please start by speaking to the customer behaviors or expectations that play the biggest role in the manufacturing industry today?
Absolutely, Klaus. Thanks. And thanks. It's good to be back. Thanks for having me again. B2B manufacturing continues to be impacted by B2C consumer trends and behaviors. And they see, manufacturing is seeing rapid product innovation, increasingly competitive markets. I think the pain of supply chain is slowly subsiding. But that being said, now there's heightened focus on product experiences, whether you're in a B2B buying group or a B2C consumer. And these B2C consumers are shaping those B2B buying behaviors. But there are two major undercurrents that are driving this. Firstly, there is a high level of digitization of customers' lives and consumers' lives. So think about this post-pandemic and what we were able to do before the pandemic versus beyond the pandemic. And so you can see that there's a higher level and fidelity of product information that includes data, assets, maybe even 3D models and renderings that are being expected. And also part of this is due, in fact, because we have so many different tasks that we can complete online. And that is raising the bar for product experiences across the board. And then the second piece that's driving this is always on expectations, right? We have really shifted to a mobile first, mobile native mindset, meaning technological innovation has heightened customers' expectations for organizations to provide consistent, relevant content across all channels. I mean, 95% of US consumers, according to our research, 95% of US consumers have a smartphone in front of them, giving way to an always-on channel on devices for consumers to engage with, right? So when you take both of these two factors into account, I think you can see the digital trends that B2B manufacturing is being impacted with.
So that's fascinating, and it really highlights how B2B is increasingly mirroring the fast-paced, high-expectation worlds of B2C. So you mentioned the impact of digitalization and the always-on nature of consumer expectations. So given these trends, what steps do you think B2B organizations need to take to effectively meet and exceed these heightened customer expectations?
Yeah, great question. And I think that's the question of the minute, especially as we're moving way beyond the pandemic now, right? So I think a couple of things come into play. Well, first of all, we have to optimize our product development processes and the overall tooling to increase the speed to market and cost savings, but also the speed to market for new products. The actual go-to-market needs to be enabled by immersive visual assets across all go-to-market channels, as these B2B buyers are expecting B2C type experiences. And finally, I think we have to absolutely leverage the power of 3Ds and workflows and definitely digital asset management systems to drive this kind of transformation in an org. So it's almost sort of front office led, but we really need to enable B2B manufacturers to look at their product development processes to see how they can enable that front office experience growth.
So that's interesting to hear you outline the steps that B2B organizations need to take to keep pace with the evolving customer expectations, because I firmly believe KeyShot is uniquely positioned to help companies achieve just that. You know, for more than 2 decades, we've led the industry in product visualization, pioneering the first scientifically accurate rendering engine. And today, more than 10,000 customers worldwide, including 2/3 of the Fortune 500 customers, rely on KeyShot more or less every day to make faster and more informed design decisions. And now, for the first time in industry history, KeyShot is merging rendering software with DAM software, positioning us to help organizations design and deliver interactive, immersive visual assets with enhanced collaboration across teams. And you mentioned the power of 3D. We absolutely recognize the power of 3D to elevate product experiences. So we are committed to enabling our customers to leverage high fidelity 3D assets that both engage and inform. And with that, KeyShot is essentially stepping into an expanded role with a broader vision to essentially transform how products are brought to market with a complete solution for the entire product journey. We call this approach product design to market. And it's really a holistic strategy that bridges the gap between design, development, and marketing teams. So instead of working in silos, this vision promotes seamless collaboration and asset sharing across departments, resulting in faster iterations, stronger alignment, and a smoother path from product concept to market delivery. So as the manufacturing sector evolves, we believe it's essential as well for the tools to evolve and support it. So with that in mind, what do you see as the biggest challenges currently facing the manufacturing sector?
Oh, there's a lot here, but let me see if I can boil it down into some of the ones that are the most applicable to your product design solution. So, number one, I think we have to address the poor data practices that are in play, right? So it's actually ironic because according to our research, some of the top in-house capabilities for B2B manufacturers is centered around data engineering and data governance as they're creating their products. But the poor practices and silos where all of that exists impacts their time to market and internal productivity. Number two, I would say, is our research shows that 33% of the companies we're surveying are grappling with having too many outbound communication technology silos to orchestrate digital experiences consistently and coherently in front of their customers. So even if they have a great go-to-market opportunity or solution in place for their products, they struggle with bringing that experience to life in more of a unified fashion. And then that brings me to number three, which is sort of the underpinning of all of the storyline, which is that it's harder for them to support the business case to get more investments for a digital experience architecture and tech. Meaning, our research is showing actually that 31% of B2B businesses are facing difficulties building a business case to get that level of funding. So if you sort of take all three of these in concert, you start to see that it's a multi-factor, multi-pronged issue that is compounding upon itself. So we have a situation of poor data practices, lack of DX unification, but also finally digital experience architecture behind the scenes. It's challenging for them to go in and resolve that through business cases and get the funding that's really needed to drive change in market.
Interesting. So thank you for sharing some of your research, which really highlights the layered challenges manufacturing organizations are facing as they thrive to deliver seamless B2B-like digital experiences. You mentioned issues like poor data practices, technology silos, and the lack of a unified digital experience architecture, which all seem to create hurdles in providing cohesive experiences. But where in the organization do you see these challenges having the most impact? In other words, what teams are affected the most by issues like silos, poor data practices, and lack of orchestration?
Yeah, good question. So let's take it sort of working from the internal parts of the org out to the front. Manufacturing, the product lifecycle management process where product design and technical teams are involved. Those are the ones that are creating product. They're operating in silos. And as go-to-market motions get going on these products, they tend to lose the efficiency due to rework and better articulation of how their product is going to go to market and impact the end consumer that it's being designed for. And so even in a B2B scenario, you can see that the product design and the back and forth there causes them to lose efficiency. The second team that gets impacted generally is the go-to-market / marketing teams that get involved to activate the product in market. And let's be real, in today's market, activating a product is not an easy task, right? So these teams are laser focused on channels and messaging and imagery and romance copy and attributes so that they can bring it to life in front of multiple audiences and segments, especially in B2B buying groups where it becomes so much more complicated as to who you're actually talking to when they're experiencing something on a digital channel. So in this mid-office space, we find that these sort of PIM teams or product info teams and go-to-market teams are going back and forth between the digital experience side of the house and the PLM processes and the product teams that are creating product. And then finally, the digital experience teams on the front end of the consumer-facing side of the org, they're bringing the product experience to life through vivid imagery, and they're looking to drive emotion. And so they're looking to see how consumers can interact with these images and models. And so how can we get the B2B buyer to be more invested and integrated in that buying journey is what they're after. And really, more and more of a push we're seeing towards brand manufacturers' sites instead of distributors, right? So I think there's a big drive towards understanding how PLM to PIM to GAM and digital experience can connect all the way through to help with efficiencies that these teams are being impacted by the most.
Mm. Yeah, so that sounds very familiar to what we are seeing and hearing when we interact with our customers. I mean, we've learned firsthand about the challenges they have both in product design and in the go-to-market process, and also about the significant opportunity for efficiency and innovation. So increasing global competition and consumer expectations mean product manufacturers essentially need to bring new products to market faster than ever before. But as we talked about, siloed processes and redundancy result in wasted time, lost money, and also slower product innovation. So to give you a sense of the scope of the problem, we've heard in talks with our customers that of product launches that have been delayed up to 2 to 4 months. We've also seen that the average design team, they are losing up to 20 hours per month just searching for files. We've heard about double or triple prototyping costs, millions of dollars on unnecessary product photography each year. And when we look at all of those things and combine it, we call this the efficiency trap. And let me just elaborate a little bit on some of the characteristics of the efficiency trap. So first, data silos, we talked about that already. So teams work on their own version of a product concept using sometimes specialty software, files stored on individuals' computers, and this makes it difficult to track concepts as they evolve, and for the data and visuals to be leveraged across design, engineering, and marketing teams. Another sign of the efficiency trap is convoluted decision-making. Stakeholders may not fully understand a concept without clear visualizations. So designers and engineers, they must ensure alignment and also synthesize essentially hundreds of changes on a concept. And more often than not, feedback is not tracked in one place, and stakeholders are sometimes receiving conflicting instructions. Then there's costly manufacturing and marketing errors. So details like colors and materials, they change frequently as a product is developed. And because there's no shared location to track these details, employees have to rely on memory or old files for their next phase of work. And unfortunately, companies risk manufacturing a product incorrectly or probably even more commonly, displaying inaccurate product visuals online. And then last but not least, there's a failure to leverage visualizations in marketing. It's been established by research that 3D visuals sell better than 2D visuals. So according to a study done by Shopify, sellers using 3D, they see a 94% increase in conversions. So a 94% increase in conversions. But many marketing teams are unaware of the high quality 3D visuals that already exist in the organization. And that forces them to recreate product visuals or really miss an opportunity to create an immersive e-commerce experience that would increase sales. So the efficiency trap is really a common issue that we encounter with the majority of our customers, and it's something that we are committed to helping them overcome. But given these challenges, what will leading companies in the manufacturing space do to win in 2025? Do you have any recommendations, Chuck?
Absolutely. I think it boils down to a strong operations management process and vision, and it needs to be anchored in sort of three different areas. First one is about an assessment, so clear understanding of the data and applications that support the manufacturing operations process and the go-to-market motions. Understand limitations and be really acutely aware of the opportunities to get to economies of scale. I think that's really where we would start. Then it's important, obviously, once you have the awareness through the assessment, to understand where new tech can impact the business, whether it's reviewing actual technology partners, but also SIs and agencies that are helping you build some of the go-to-market and the digital experience. You have to embrace some of the new tech also on the PLM side of the house, like industrial automations, to sort of thread the needle end to end. PIM solutions certainly exist, and strong digital asset management capabilities that can span the enterprise help bring all of that to life, right? And finally, I think we know this, but in B2B and B2B manufacturing, it's a lot about sequencing and process. It's not just slapping on new tech. So, mapping a revised future state, plugging the new tech capabilities to see where you can get even more value and efficiencies and time to market is really where the story gets really, really interesting for many businesses. And of course, you have to ensure that there are strong links between your PLM and your PIM and your DAM and the underlying systems like CRM and ERP that are, prevalent in every organization, in every B2B organization, and driving some of those interactions for consumers on the glass. So those are really the three things that I would say, when you ask me what are some of the leading companies going to have, they're going to be able to assess, review their options, but most importantly, really implement tech and revise processes to help them scale and get to those economies of scale from PLM to digital experience on the glass.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me, and it really highlights how critical it is for leading companies to have a well-defined operations management vision, especially as they leverage new technologies and optimize processes to gain a competitive edge in 2025 and beyond. So on that note, I'd love to hear your thoughts on technologies like AI and machine learning and how they will influence the future of 3D rendering and digital asset management. So where do you see these advancements making the biggest impact?
Yeah. I mean, generative AI and even machine learning, they're impacting this entire storyline pretty heavily. So, digital asset management tech is already using AI to generate new image renditions, even stitch together personalized audio and video files. I saw that as early as sort of end of last year. So it's been around for a while. It's refining in fidelity and maturity. So as all of this increases alongside AI compute power, we're going to see some of these processes become the norm. So back to our story around PLM all the way to digital experience, you can see now how some of these front-end digital asset AI-enabled capabilities are really going to put more pressure on the teams on the PLM side of the house to deliver more faster with more fidelity, right? Then, of course, we've got the concept of spatial interfaces, 3D and digital experiences. While we were going down the path of sort of XR headsets and whatnot and augmented reality, I think over time, perspective lines will change on screen. Rendering in 3D will become a lot more acceptable and even sort of almost a requirement across these experiences. And, storing these assets in digital asset management systems is going to be the only way to get to any kind of economy of scale, as I was mentioning, right? And so with that baseline, when you put both of these things together, you can see that AI is really going to drive the generation of assets. DAMs will become these repositories, and machine learning and industry models are only going to help us accelerate through like accurate taxonomies, brand assets that are being delivered that are on point, and accelerating time to market for PLM teams and digital experience teams. I think my summation of the AI space in digital asset management, and definitely something that I've seen over the course of my research in 2024, is that there's still a ton to be done here. So I think we're just scratching the surface. We have a long way to go.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate to that, and your research and your thinking definitely also resonates with how we are thinking about AI. So we in KeyShot see a tremendous potential really in AI, and I agree with you. We're just scratching the surface as it is. But when it comes to rendering, we actually still believe that accuracy is essential for effective product visualization. So generative AI can certainly produce impressive images. We all agree to that, but we believe that true to life accuracy down to the precise details of materials and brand elements will still remain the strength of physics-based rendering. That said, we are exploring other AI capabilities, and we've already taken that into some of the product sets that we have today. One of them is boosting customer efficiency when using our products. So, for instance, via AI-enabled chatbots. AI can also dramatically improve the speed and quality of physics-based rendering through methods like optimizing light ray sampling or denoising rendering images. Another use case is enabling creative marketing teams to quickly generate 2D renderings as a replacement for physical photography. So imagine feeding an AI engine with accurate product data and then using it to create environments around precise rendering. So there's no doubt AI will influence the DAM and rendering space. And as I said, we've already implemented several use cases, and it will definitely remain a central element of our roadmap going forward. But with the AI potential in mind, what do you see as the biggest challenges if we sort of lift the perspective a little bit and look out for like a 5 years perspective as companies are trying to create and manage digital assets?
Yeah, good question. I think with the onset of generative AI, everyone was so enthralled with the idea that we can create content or generate content with the machine, that we've been focused on getting out of the hallucinations phases and really refining the fidelity of the content. Over time, I think we're going to see a issue of content proliferation, which is that we have too much content, and or what of that content is on brand. So I think that being the first major challenge will drive more focus on what will become the second and ancillary challenge, which is really, is your digital asset management system in the enterprise the single source of truth for your assets? Just because another content system can generate or try to generate an on-brand image of your asset or a 3D render of a product, is it the actual accepted, validated, even watermarked and stamped perfect one that you want to go to market with? Those questions are going to come into focus really, really quickly. And we're going to look back into product design and PLM for some of that continuity all the way from product concept to market delivery. And then I think the third thing that's going to become really interesting as we go on, and some of my research this year focused heavily on this, which is looking at product experiences that are not on brand channels or retailer sites, like really being served up through API calls and coming to life on third-party channels, some which you might not even be aware of where they're being served. So the question is, how much can you control and manage your product experience in market so that it is rendered at the right time and becomes contextualized or personalized to create that immersive product experience? And in this story that you've been sharing, Claus, today, it would even be more sort of 3D interactive at the right moment. So I think you can see as we start to look at where some of this is going, there are organizational impacts, there's a content issue that will come into focus. But I think at the end of the day, product experiences, where can we surface them? Where can they be immersive and interactive are going to be a part of the story going forward.
Yeah, fully agree. We are having the same conversations with our customers today. So if we look at KeyShot, I mean, our evolution is all about helping companies navigate many of the challenges really that we've discussed by breaking down the silos and centralizing much of the product design and delivery process within one single ecosystem. So KeyShot's product design to market suite really enables significant efficiency gains cost savings, and perhaps most importantly, enhance creativity and innovation. So we talked about designers, and for designers, this means that they can focus more on creativity and less on logistics. For the marketeers, it means gaining access to immersive and interactive assets that may already exist within the organization, ready to be leveraged for campaigns and e-commerce. And for businesses overall, it's an opportunity to streamline processes, cut costs, and really bring products to market faster. So consider Under Armour, for instance, a leading sports apparel brand. They use KeyShot in their design process, where real-time render views instantly show changes in colors and materials, and that's allowing them to focus on creativity instead of prolonged prototype review process. Or another example, BlendJet, a blender company, they saw a 20% increase in online sales after switching to KeyShot's rendering, thanks to the immersive 360-degree product views that enrich their customer experience. So, Chuck, you mentioned earlier the importance of building a business case to secure funding for new solutions, and to help our customers get started on building a business case for a product design to market strategy within their organizations. I encourage them to really explore two new resources that we've put out on our website. First one is a new white paper on the product design to market opportunity, which explores how to unlock efficiency and drive innovation across the business. And the second one is an efficiency assessment. It's a very quick 5-question tool that calculates the cost of inefficient processes based on enterprise size, demand, and scalability. So again, those assets are available on our website, keyshot.com. But I think we are more or less coming to an end of today's session. It's been really always a pleasure, really, to talk to you and discuss with you, and to get insight into the research that you've conducted over the past year. So thank you again for joining, Chuck, and I'm looking forward to talk to you again, hopefully soon.
Likewise, thank you, Claus, and I'm excited to see where you all go next. Looking forward to talking again soon.
Thank you so much. Take care.